Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Full Capacity. I work in a help desk call center as a first-line agent, on purpose. My job is easy. We work from home, where users can contact us and we fix the most basic computer problems, often resolved by a restart or a redeployment of some sort. I took this job on purpose to get away from a very stressful career that destroyed my social life and frankly my will to live. This job costs me exactly zero energy, giving me the space and energy to have the social life I've always dreamed of. The pay for this job is based on the languages you provide help in. Because of my language skills and a promotion I'm not allowed to tell my colleagues about, I make more than anyone else on my team. For this simple reason, I refuse to take any promotions that bring more stress but are not financially compensated. That's why I have worked in first line for 3.5 years now, while most of my colleagues have had promotions. Because this company has a huge turnover, I often get new colleagues/managers. I usually train new colleagues and have a friendly, cordial relationship with the managers, but I always try to stay private and reserved as much as possible to save all my energy for after-work activities. Most days I don't talk to anyone. I log in, I work on the tickets for 50% of the time, while studying/reading, watching movies or listening to music the rest of the time. What's important to know is that we can get a bonus of up to 10% of our monthly income depending on our productivity. I always get the 10%, but for some newer colleagues it's difficult because the limits are pretty high. If I like a colleague, I will sometimes help them by closing tickets in their name. I usually take the more challenging tickets and leave the easier ones for the newer team members. The company I work for has the help desk for 12 languages, so to cover all the languages we have a team of 8. So now to the malicious compliance. One of the people I trained became the new team leader, which I actually encouraged. The guy is exactly the manager type and understands the job. Unfortunately, the pressure from the operations manager got to him and he started checking our stats, noticing that for about 4 hours per day there is no activity from me. I explained to him that this is on purpose to give everyone a chance to get their bonus and that my output is still higher than anyone else on the team. He also noticed that I sometimes close tickets in my colleague's name, for which I couldn't give him the real reason, cause it's sort of a fraud. I just told him I rush sometimes and just don't notice. He told me no more relaxing times and no more closing tickets in others' names. He actually said he would be checking up on me to make sure I work the full 8 hours I'm paid for. I explained to him that this is a very bad idea, that the team is doing really well and the current status quo is perfectly balanced and he shouldn't upset it, but he was young and reckless. Fine. For the next 2 months I worked at full capacity. Normally there was a good balance of closing tickets and everyone got a fair shot at their bonus. But now I did about 70% of the work, leaving very little for my colleagues who, except for one other, both months didn't qualify for their bonuses, causing huge conflicts in the team. I tried to stay out of it, but was soon accused of stealing all my colleagues' tickets and not giving them a chance to earn their bonuses. I replied professionally to all the accusations via email, making sure to CC all relevant managers, including the OM. After 2 months, our new team leader was reassigned, and the status quo returned as it was. The next story is called Decree Required. While I was a college student in the 80s, I accepted a job as a second shift computer operator at a large regional bank. The job duties were processing all the checks and payments, printing statements and checks, running all the backups, and so on. On the day I showed up for the job, I learned that I wasn't getting that job, but a lower one that physically loaded the check readers, loaded printer paper, signed checks, burst forms, and so on. The lead computer operator had apparently threatened to quit if they didn't promote internally and give the job to one of the current people in the position I just ended up in. They later got married, so you can probably figure out her actual motive. But the department manager, Mr. Biggs, my boss's boss, told me that I would be promoted to computer operator as soon as anyone left the position. You guessed it. 2 years later, no one left the position and we acquired another regional bank. Our CEO told the CEO of the acquired bank that no employees would be fired. So suddenly we had an expert computer operator on every shift. But Mr. Biggs insisted I'd still get promoted, because he knew I was the most computer literate employee he had. Something he used to his advantage in numerous side projects which should have been paid at a much higher rate. 6 months later, one of the computer operators finally transferred to the programming department. I asked Mr. Biggs to promote me to the position, and he told me he was working on it. A few months later, he finally tells me that they still have too many computer operators because of the acquisition, and I wouldn't be promoted until more of them left. Clearly, this wasn't working, so a few months later, another position opens in the programming department, and I apply for it. Mr. Biggs signed the form, allowing me to apply, and wished me luck. The interviews went well, and programming wanted to hire me. But a few days later, the computer operator who transferred there told me privately that Mr. Biggs went to the head of programming. He asked him not to consider me for the position, because I was his best employee and he couldn't afford to lose me. The head of programming told him, "No, I'm going to hire the best person for the job." The next morning, the HR director calls me to say that one of the executive vice presidents wants to interview me for the position. She is flabbergasted, because he's never asked to interview anyone of that level, and couldn't explain why he wanted to now. After the interview, the HR director called me, apologized profusely, and told me they were giving the position to another candidate because he had a college degree. No, it wasn't related to the position in any way. The degree was from an unaccredited college that had actually asked me to teach computer courses there, which I turned down. Of course, I knew what had really happened. So I told the HR director that I hadn't realized how important a degree was, and that I would immediately switch to part-time instead of full-time, so I could take more hours of classes to finish my degree more quickly. There are no part-time positions in Mr. Biggs' department, so it meant transferring to the department run by his biggest competitor within the company. She transferred me immediately, at the same pay I was making in the previous department, and I never worked for Mr. Biggs again. The last story is called Bathroom Duty. We have a new head boss. Let's call her Janice. And while she's a nice lady, she's not exactly very smart. She's made some really questionable decisions about how we custodians do our jobs. Take Bathroom A. Bathroom A is our busiest restroom and can be impossible to keep clean. So Janice decided to put 2 people in that restroom. Okay, fine. But she expects us to stay in there at all times. Now, one of my fellow co-workers, let's call her Anna, has just been diagnosed with a kidney stone, and as part of her treatment plan has to drink more water than usual to help pass it. And of course this results in her going to the bathroom more than usual. So we let her. She's a hard worker and one of our best, so it's never a problem. Well, a few days ago, Anna and I were assigned Bathroom A. It was pretty busy, as it was the weekend. So in the middle of all of this, Anna tells me in a quiet voice that she has to go to the bathroom. I nod and tell her to go ahead. Just then Janice comes in on one of her rare rounds and sees Anna taking off. The resulting conversation goes like this. "Anna, where are you going? And leaving him to clean this restroom alone?" Anna was clearly antsy and said, "I have to use the restroom." "I don't care. You're not leaving and I'm staying here until you go back to work. Please, I have to go." "Then go." Very poor choice of words. The next thing I know, Anna is standing in a large puddle and is crying. Janice jumps back in horrified panic and I'm seeing red. Man, was I ready to slap Janice. I call my foreman to ask him if we could go get Anna a new uniform. We are provided our uniforms. And if I could accompany her to the services building because she was a mess. Okay, but who will clean the restroom? I smirk at Janice, who is several shades of red and white. Janice will, since she denied Anna the ability to use the restroom when she needed to. She did say she'd stay until Anna went back to work. So Anna and I took our time getting to the services building, Anna thanking me profusely the whole time. Anna got cleaned up, complete with a shower and a brand new uniform. I got the satisfaction of knowing Janice had to clean that restroom all by herself. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.